Hey y'all, welcome to Drawing with Steffi. We're going to hop right into this today. Today I thought we would do drawing a very popular character from mythology called Anubis. It's sometimes called the god of the dead or god of mummification over in Egypt. As usual, I'm using Paint Tool Psi. And let's see, good size brush here. Here we go. Right, most of the time when you see Anubis drawn, he's actually just got an animal head and then a human body, and that's what we're going to do today. So, whoops, let's make that a little bit better. And I'm drawing this a little on the dark side just so you guys can see. I totally recommend drawing lighter normally. And I'm just going to do just kind of a bust, so that's just going to be from like the hips up. How about that? It's another reason I like to do digital, because you can play around with it on the fly. But if you're just using a piece of paper, you can always just use your eraser, draw really light. Alright, so I'm going to switch colors here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And I like to draw kind of a triangle to figure out kind of which direction the figure is looking. And since he's kind of got a bit of a dog head, I'm going to make his head kind of a rectangle here instead of just a circle like you usually do for a person. I'm going to add in his neck, which is just a cylinder. And one of the questions I've gotten sometimes is, how do I decide what shapes to use and where? And there's no real hard, fast rule on this. You just, as long as it's a shape and it works, use it. And most of the time you just kind of get that from practice and you find out what works for you. Of course, using reference helps. And after you've used reference long enough, you just start remembering how things go. Make it easy on y'all and just have him putting his arms at his side today. Next video I'll do like his whole body. But this way y'all get to see his face a lot better. And that's just kind of the base there. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that lower layer and pull down the opacity on this. Go back to the red again. Start putting out those details a little bit more. I'm going to give him that nifty collar they like to wear over there in ancient Egypt. And just in case anybody's wondering, yes, I am using a drawing tablet. I use a Wacom Intuos 5 or Intuos Pro. Alright, so let's start with his face. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to start with his eyes here. And at this stage of the game, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just kind of get it in there so you know where everything's going to go. Oops, sorry about that. Phone alarm. Get his nose. Draw some cheekbones in there. I'm going to zoom out here so we can give him some big ears. And for a jackal, he doesn't look much like a jackal, does he? They look a lot more like pharaoh hounds. which kind of look like greyhounds a little bit. Very thin dogs. Alright, his chin got a little big there, but that's okay, because if you're doing this right, hopefully you're drawing nice and light. I'm going to squish these together here. Bring down the opacity again so we can sketch on top of that again. It's another reason I really like using digital means. I don't have to kill quite so many trees anymore. Because I've always done kind of an overlapping process like this. It's just I would either use a light table or some tracing paper to help me do my layers. Or you'd have to just draw really, really super light and hope you didn't mess up. And we're going to add in his little eye makeup here. There's no real rule on how that looks. It can have a couple different styles. We're just going to make it simple. And I'm going to make the nose a little simplified here. I'm going to make him very serious looking. He's not going to smile. Then draw the jawline here. And sometimes they wear that Egyptian hat thing. I'm not quite sure what it's called. Let's see if we can stick that in there today. So that what's going to do is it's going to come around the ears and then come down this way. For what I understand, it's mostly supposed to be made out of fabric. And then it comes down around in the front. Kind of like hair. I'm going to give it a little bit of a slant inward. And it was usually striped. So we'll start here and give it some stripes. And then have it come around this way. And the stripes come horizontal. There's usually a thicker band at the bottom that's all like gold. Not too worried about it all lining up right now. And let's get that other ear in there. And then add in that banding. It's usually also gold colored. I'm gonna bring his head up just a little bit so we have a little bit more neck in there. We can draw in the collar. And I think his head is a little bit big for the rest of his body, so we'll just make that a little bit smaller again. Digital is awesome that way. There we go. Another layer. And now we can draw in the rest of his body. Nice and hunky. Make sure he's got lots of abs. Give him a belt. Or a sash of some sort. Here we go. And then there's the arms. Stick his fingers in there. And again, it's okay to refine things on the fly if you think something's too big or too small or whatever. I think we'll give him some bracelet cuffs. Here we go. And there you go. We have Anubis. And of course you can play around with it and make it neater. It's kind of messy today. Let's give him a little bit more of a serious eyebrow going on. There we go. He's got serious business to deal with. And there we go. And of course, if you guys have questions or suggestions for other tutorials you'd like to see me do, feel free to send me a note on YouTube here or on DeviantArt or Furry. I always love to hear from people. Have a great day and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.